Hello everyone, this is Sugan Khanna and I have 10 years of experience working with PHP, Drupal and much more. You can find me on LinkedIn too with this shared link. This short PHP training playlist will cover all basics which are required to start with Drupal CMS. So let's get started. What does this mean? Client-side scripting language and server-side scripting language. Well, when a client makes a request for a web page, that information is processed by a web server. Here, this is a client and this is a web server, and the information is getting processed. If the request is a server side script, example PHP or Perl, before the information is returned to the client, the script is executed on the server and the result of the script is returned to the client. This is what we call the server side scripting. Now, once the client receives the returned information, once this client receives the returned information, and if it contains the client side script, let's say JavaScript, your computer browser executes the script before displaying the web page. This is what we call the client side scripting. Let's search for any website. Let's say this website. I will do inspect, and here you can see all code is loaded in the browser, right? Now, let's suppose I want to check. Okay, so let's suppose I want to change some CSS. I want to do a background color, uh, let's say red. As you can see, this got reflected immediately. Yeah. So in client side scripting language, it's basically we call the browser language where all code gets loaded first at the browser end and things get reflected immediately. Client side scripting language is basically used when browsers have all the code, right? Usually perform several actions without going to the user as we do in the server side, then it cannot connect to database on the web server. So database is not required here. You just need to remember that this is the browser specific. Fine. You open the app in your phone and order it and get the food. But what's going in the background? There's a request and there's a response flow. Someone at the other side of your phone listening you and process your request. That someone, we call it as a server. In technical aspects, you fill some online form and get data on submit, certain data on submit. So here are the key points. First, this is a server specific, and then it's basically used to create dynamic pages, and it's needed when you need to store and retrieve information from a database. It will be used to contain a database will be used to contain data. And some examples are PHP, Python, Java, Ruby. These all are the server-side languages. Since we know now that PHP is a server-side scripting language and its acronym stands for Hypertext Preprocessor, let's go into some coding stuff. This is a proper syntax. The syntax, you can start with this sign and then question mark PHP, and your code goes in between here. In order to execute the PHP, you need to save the PHP file with the extension .php. Now, what exactly happens with the PHP request? When any user requests a web page from the server, there is a PHP parser which interprets the PHP portion of the page. and performs some operations and generates the hypertext markup language that results from those operations. The HTML is then sent to the client browser, providing a seamlessly rendering of the content. Now, since it's a server side scripting language, we definitely need a server to execute the PHP code. You can download and install XAMPP server. How you can download and install it? Simply type XAMPP download for Windows. This is a site. You just download it from here, which PHP version you want. I have downloaded it with 8.2. You can click it over here, execute that .exe file, and your XAMPP server got downloaded. XAMPP comes up with Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So here, since I have already downloaded the XAMPP server, I will just start the Apache here. We didn't require MySQL for now, so I'm not starting the MySQL server. You can access it at localhost. So here it is, the PHP version is 8.2.4. XAMPP server is installed successfully. Now, let's start with executing the basic code. Here is an index file, index.php. Here it is in the XAMPP htdocs folder. I'm just copying this file and rename it with some other file, with some other name. I'm opening this file in VS. Okay. Now I go to the browser and type here test.php. Here it is. My name is showing over here. Now give you one another short snippet where PHP is embedded in the HTML. How we can do it? I've opened this link and I will just copy this HTML snippet with PHP embedded in it in my test file which I have just created and save it. This is the standard syntax of HTML where I have included the head. This is a body part and here is my PHP snippet. Now $text, this is the way we declare the variable and I have put some dummy text in this variable. This is a syntax for date and I'm just echoing it. There are two ways to print any variable. One is echo and second one is print. So I have just done this echo text or I can remove this for make it more simple and remove the date also. So this is a variable which I have declared and I have put some dummy content over here and I'm just printing this variable with the echo. Just save it and refresh it. You can see this is the heading which is coming, example of HTML in action, and this is the PHP string which is coming. Let's check it. As you can see, now I'm doing Control Z to make you the example more clearer with this date function. I'm just saving it, and now you can check the difference. Today's date is June 8, 2023. We have just used the date function and we have learned what exactly variable is. In the next video, I will tell you more about the variables and the functions in PHP. Thank you and have a nice day.